Last Days Navigator, in conjunction with Rapture Pending Prophecy Partners. It's 2024, y'all. It's about that time. I told you I was going to give you a few weeks. I was going to chill out during Christmas. It's a new year. It's a new day. It's a new season. And it's about to be lit. The book of Daniel, chapter 9, he tells us what time it is. He tells us what's going on. He tells us 70 weeks. 70 weeks are prophesied. 70 weeks are determined for your people and your holy city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the command to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah, the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. 70 weeks. That time frame is pretty much past us. There's so many weeks in between. Now, when we say weeks, we're not talking about weeks as we know weeks by the Gregorian calendar or the Roman calendar. It's a whole different ballgame. We're talking God time. Remember, 1,000 years with God's but a day. As a day with God's but 1,000 years in our time, right? Remember that. Verse 26 says, and after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince who was to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, which indeed happened. But this time frame ramps back up, because still a few more weeks that has to be done, right? That's the time frame we're coming to now. Wars and desolations. The verse says, the end of it shall be with the flood, and until the end of the war, desolations are determined. Then he shall confirm a covenant with the many for 1 week. We talk about that covenant. We talk all about it. Everybody knows about it. You've heard about One World Order, the Illuminati. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. I might have cut that out, edit that out. But anyway, we talk about one world government. We talk about the Antichrist ruling. We talk about how all the world's government is going to give their power to this one world leader. And in the past, people thought, no one ever did that. That's crazy. It's not as crazy as you think, because when you look at American politics alone, how many people are diehard backers of Trump? How many people are diehard backers of Biden? How many of the rest of us sit back and go like, they just human? Why y'all praise them like that? We have to pay attention to these things and see what's going on, because they're all signs of the time. Matthew 6 verse 33 says, seek the kingdom first. He asks us to seek the kingdom first. There's a reason for it, especially going into these last days, because deception will be running rampant. Remember, if God is getting his people in order, you know the enemy is doing the same thing on his side. And he's got a lot of deception running around in this world today, whether it's in news, media, politics, society. Everywhere you look, you see deception. It's hard to find the truth, especially with AI now. That brings a whole new level of deception we're not even going to get into. What we're going to get into right now are the things that is going to let us know what time frame it is. See, in 2023, there was the Hamas attack October 7th in Israel that started this new war between Hamas and Israel, and eventually Israel and the whole world, right? You also saw the year before that, at the end of the year before that, and going all through last year, you saw Ukraine and Russia. That's about to be a whole new ballgame. You can't look at one side and think, okay, I know what's going on, I know what time it is. You have to look at all these things. The Bible says, when you see all these things happening together at the same time. So when we say these things, what are these things we're talking about? What are some of these signs we're talking about? I can give you just a few here, right? We'll talk about 2023. What happened in 2023? Let's see. We went to war twice. We already know that. The economy is back and forth like a roller coaster. We know that. The price of goods have gone up and skyrocketed. We know that. We know the book of Revelation says that a loaf of bread, which is basically a basket of barley, a loaf of bread is a day's wages. That means however much money it takes you, however long you have to work that day to make the money to make, that money you need to make will be just enough to cover one loaf of bread. Think about that for a second. Think about how much expensive things are now. Think about the price of eggs now compared to a year ago. Just think about that. Now, looking at the world status, the wealthy. Right now, the wealthy are building more enclaves, more storm shelters, more bug out shelters than ever before. You got the Facebook dude over in Hawaii. He built this giant piece of land. He's got this giant fortress over there in Hawaii right now. Not too far from the area where they had the fire at. You have other known celebrities that are building these mega fortresses now to protect them, which is interesting because it's not just because we see them doing it. Well, we didn't know the politicians have been doing it. We didn't know the Fortune 500 CEOs have been doing this for a while now. The Bible says in Revelations, they will cry to the rocks, fall on us and hide us. But the Bible clearly states there will be no place to hide. What else happened? You saw the markets going through fluctuation. You saw the Feds loan over $140 billion since March of 2023. $140 billion of your hard-earned taxpayer money loaned out. That's a record, by the way. The planet is, excuse my language, but the planet is literally hot as hell. 1.7 degrees higher right now, this planet is, than it should be. That's an average of a 30-degree temperature jump. 30 degrees is huge. 30 degrees in your area, if you used to be in 60 and all of a sudden it's 90 degrees, that's going to be kind of problematic. But that's just one thing. See, you have this new COVID strain now that's coming out that people are talking about, and you're not hearing too much about it, but you will. In the next few weeks, you're going to hear a lot about it because this new COVID strain, apparently, it affects the heart. And they're saying it can all cause heart failure. So first you had the one that affects the lungs, you affect the colds and everything else. It is super flu, whatnot. Now you got one that attacks the heart. It can take the heart out. That is not a good deal. Just one of many signs. Russia's been going at it with Ukraine, and Russia's talking a whole lot of mad trash right now. In fact, in the last weeks, they had said recently that Ukraine used illegal weapons from NATO against them in their largest attack. Now, why would they do that? Why would they come out there and say that? Unless they were trying to get something to provoke people even more so into a deeper level of war, a higher escalation, right? The U.S. opened a new airstrip in Guam, an airstrip that we haven't used since World War II. But we reopened that airstrip, and we're expanding that airstrip in Guam so that we have more of a placement in that area. But Guam is in Asia, not the Middle East. It's over here in Asia. Why would we be building a base on Guam and putting all these ships and planes over there in Guam, unless we have an issue with China over Taiwan? 2024. We put six THAAD THAAD systems in Guam. We've greatly expanded. F-16s are in Ukraine right now, believed to already be being used. Poland's on high alert after Russian missiles have entered their airspace. The UK Defense Secretary basically said, yeah, we're ready to go to war with Russia. Literally, Grand Chapter, the UK Defense Minister came out just a couple of days ago and said, yeah, Russia, we're ready for you. We're about that life. No, you're not. You think you are, but you're not. Germany also said, we about that life. Germany's getting ready to go into conscription, which means they don't have enough people to man their army, so they have to start making people, enforcing people. Ukraine's already doing this. Ukraine has a new law. Let me find this for you right quick, just so I can really break it down to you, help you to understand. January 10th, a new Ukrainian mobilization law may take effect, which means you can't go abroad, you can't sell products, you can't drive a car, you can't get a job, you can't get a loan, you can't get public services, no healthcare, no nothing, if you do not have a military ID. That is a new mobilization law that they are kicking up in Ukraine, which takes effect January 10th. I'm telling you, that in Ukraine is the blueprint for what the West is going to do elsewhere. Watch and see. War with China over Taiwan is on the horizon. China already basically told Biden, we're coming for Taiwan. They told him. And it was what happened. The first of the year, we got hit by a 7.5 earthquake today. At 4:10 p.m. their time, which is 11:10 California time, do the math, 4-1, but I'm gonna leave it alone. First earthquake, I'm just saying, 7.5. It's kind of uncanny on the first day. But yeah, they say they're going for Taiwan. They are coming from Taiwan. Now, knowing how powerful America is, knowing America's not going to let them just come for Taiwan, why would they come for Taiwan right now except by the fact that we are distracted? Now, you have all these powerful people in the world right now making moves different ways here and there. You have all these different countries moving all these different instruments of war to these regions. In the Middle East is one theater, in Asia is another theater, and then, believe it or not, you have a third theater opening up in Africa as well. Oh wait, there's a fourth one too. Don't forget about Venezuela. Because Venezuela's getting weapons now from the same enemies that we beefing with right now. Our foreign policy over decades has put us in a position where some people just do not like us. And in some ways you can't blame them. In other ways you have to understand, America was the policeman of the world. We had to use our force to keep people to chill. The ones that wanted to be knuckleheads and wanted to act a fool, we had to come in there and mob up on them. We had to flex our muscles to get people to chill. That muscle flex ain't working these days, and it's apparent. The enemies will come for us. We should be ready. We should prepare. And we should know what time it is. It's a new fungal disease spreading right now. It started over in Israel, and it's spreading like wildfire, another respiratory illness as well. In Israel right now, they've already evacuated over 250,000 people from the Lebanese border. Why is that? If we're fighting Hamas in Gaza, and Hezbollah over here, and you got Egypt in the south, why Lebanese border? Because that's where Hezbollah is at as well. And that's where New Front is about to open up at. See, the first two were just the opening stages. Everything that you've seen up to this point, everything up to this point is just coasting along. We have not seen anything yet. Both sides in the Russia-Ukraine war, they're still fighting very much more reserve war than they could be fighting. But make no mistake about it, in the very near future, based on the moves that's being made right now, in the very near future, somebody's gonna slap somebody in the face. And it's gonna be on. It's gonna be on and popping. People like to think that we as human beings are inherently good people. I'm not gonna get into that argument. I will tell you this much. I love my people. And I can't stand some of our ways. When I say my people, human people. Not just black, not just white, not just this color, that country, that country. The human race. We got some messed up ways. But the thing is, when we allow God to be pulled out of life, when we allow God to be pulled out of the schools, when we allow people to do what they want to do, we tell people, you ain't got to worry about God. You don't have to focus on God. He don't have to be that important in your life. You put yourself in a trick bag because the only person that can save you, the only person that can protect you, the only person that can cover you in all this is God. Period. Your mama can't save you. Your grandma can't save you. Only God. But if you don't have a relationship with him, if you don't know who he is, how can you see the forest for the trees? Don't get it twisted. There are people out there right now that want to see you fall. There are people in powerful positions that want to take you down and are strategically working to take you down. And people say, oh, that's conspiracy theory. People would never do that. Think about it like this. When gangs fight over territory, what do? They sit back, they arm up, they mob up, and they go at it for a little bit of territory. For a few $1,000s or a few $100,000, maybe even $1 million. But it's still nothing compared to the billions and billions of dollars that transact each and every day throughout the world. It still has nothing to compare to when it comes to the control structure of this world. When you look at countries, how they move. When you look at Fortune 500 companies, how they build. When you look at all the companies that are coming together now, you can see it for what it is. Power and money. Money does not corrupt. The love of money does. And power. The love of power ultimately corrupts. So when you have people in position that have money and power, and then they have greed, they're going to want more. And you know this. We see this in society every day. So if we see this in society every day, how can you sit there and not think that these things are not coming? The Bible clearly states, wars and desolations have been decreed until the end. We have passed the flashpoint. We are past the point of no return. Bible prophecy is about to unfold. It's already unfolding. And in 2024, you're about to see a whole new ball game. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be the first person to sit here and tell you, I'm looking at 90 days. That's my process. Today is January 1st. So I'm going to tell you the same thing I'm thinking. 90 days. If you love your family, make sure within 90 days, you have everything ready. You are protected. Food, resources, protection, spiritual, physical protection, armament. God said, carry your word and your sword. Don't miss on that. Your word is a sword. And you also carry your other sword. The enemy is coming and he seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. He uses people in politics. He uses people in music to get you all twisted and off kilter, not paying attention. When you see all these different artists out there that are talking all this other stuff and they just sit up there selling sex, selling murder, selling violence, selling selfishness, that is ungodly. That is what the devil wants. And they are sitting there doing his job, happily doing his job. There's a certain artist, I'm not going to say her name, as it's associated with the color. You should know what I'm talking about. She was interviewed and she literally said, because she said people get asking her, is she part of this program? I'm not gonna say which program, but she kept saying people keep asking how is she part of this program. So all of a sudden she's got this popularity, she's got this money. She's talented. I'm not saying she's not talented, but she's gotten money and she's gotten great sales now, right? And she's gotten some big fame now. In her interview, she basically said, yeah, I'm down with that program. I'm about that life, and I don't even care because I'm getting money. Those are her words. You can Google the interview. I'll put the notes in the comment section. When you see people out there saying, yeah, they don't even care, they will sell their souls for money, that is problematic. It's not just one person or two people or three people here. You see it happening more and more and more. When the powers that be don't care and they put their stuff out there for you face front, that's when you know it's time to pack up and get ready to mob out, because you know stuff's about to hit the fan. So with that being said, when you see the sun going down, you know nighttime is coming. When you see the sun is rising up, you know it's sunrise. If you're driving down the street and you see a whole bunch of red lights up front, you slam on your brakes and you stop. Why? Because you see an accident coming. So if you see the accident coming, you probably should get prepared for it. And that's all we're trying to do here at Rapture Pending. Let you know what time it is. This is just me talking to you right now. I'm going to break down real Bible verses. I'm going to break down real topics and break down these articles to show you the truth of the matter. God is real. What he told us is real. Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, he is coming. Believe it or not. But before he gets here, because he says in his word, no man knows the day or time, not even the elect. But we'll know based on the signs of the time. The signs are there. It also states that we're not going to be completely saved. We're going to have to suffer too. People say, we shouldn't have to suffer. That's not true. We shouldn't have to go through that. No, he said he will save us. He said us beforehand. I'm not saying when the rapture is going to happen. That's not my place to speak on. I'm not going to speak on that. What I will say is this. Jesus Christ suffered. What makes you think you're not going to suffer too? Suffering is coming to this world. Those of us that are listening to our Father, those of us that are prepared, are hearing His Spirit speak to us, we can get in position so we can have our families in a protected situation, in a protected environment, away from these hot zones that's about to get real litty in 2024. When 2024 comes to an end, this country, this world will not be the same as it walked in. Please believe it. Please believe it. It's about to go down. Remember this one last thing before I go. April 9th, 2024, there'll be a full total eclipse once again across the United States. People think, it's an eclipse that happens, you know. It's just the way it happens. Because we had an eclipse last year that crossed the path of the United States going that way. This eclipse, the other eclipse came this way. So the next eclipse coming up is going this way. When you look at those two eclipses and you put them on the map, it makes an X directly over the course of a certain area of the United States. Now you track that to the last major total eclipse that we had tracking the area back in 2017, and it tracked the same path and put an X over another part of the United States. Both these X's end with this eclipse that's coming up on the 9th. So be prepared. Because to me, I look at that and the Bible says these signs in heaven, these stars in heaven are for signs to let you know what time it is. And in the past, and you can Google this, throughout history, when we've had major events like that, it's always preceded by something happening on the planet. So please believe it. It's about to go down. 2024 is about to be a whole different year. But I'm not tripping. I'm not upset. I'm not distressed. I'm not freaking out like, oh my God, oh my God. No, why? Because I know who my God is. And I know what time it is. And I know where he wants us at. He wants us with him. So let's get down with the program. Let's stop playing games. Let's stop, first off, turn off the social media. Flipping and scrolling all the time. I mean, you can go there and get information. I'm not knocking that. Get the information. But please do not sit there and scroll, because you find yourself watching all this funny stuff that matters not. You're going to waste hours and hours on it each day. Take some time away from the football. Take some time away from the basketball. And pay attention to his word. Open up his word and talk to him. And let him talk to you. And actually sit back and listen for a change. Because you're about to find yourself left in a trick bag. See, United States of America, for people like me, we came from the world that had running water. We had a toilet in the house, you know. We have all the different resources. You have school buses or city buses, you know. If you couldn't walk to school, you know. We don't know what it's like to live in a third world country. Some people do. Some people in the hood that are really suffering, they're right there on the edge. But you still don't have a clue what it's like, because even in the hood, when you're struggling, there's still resources out there. Just getting to them. In those third world countries, they don't have those resources. Those third world countries, they struggle for real. But you know what else? We're about to find out what that's like. Please believe it. Please believe it. So, you can take what you want from this, take what you will. All I'm saying is this. 2024 is about to go down, and the Last Days Navigator will be here to navigate you through it and tell you what the real is in due season, in due time. Why? Because that's what God called us to do. He said, spread the gospel of the kingdom. When the gospel of the kingdom is spread across the entire earth, then you will see things come to an end. There was never a time frame in the world where the gospel was spread across the entire earth until the last 10, 20 years. It wasn't until 50 years ago, or really 30 years ago, when you had missionaries in the mountains in the third world countries with satellites and things of that nature. You didn't have anything like that before then. Now you can go anywhere. And you look at the videos, and even the young kids in Africa, they'll do the videos, they have their phones, whatnot, and they're dancing and stuff like that, because communication and technology has moved by leaps and bounds, which allows the gospel to go everywhere. God said the deceiver will be here to deceive people, and there's a lot of deception going on right now. You have more false religions than ever before, but there's only one true God. Period. Choose this day whom you're going to serve. This day, I mean like ASAP. You're going to see something happen around the end of January. It won't be the end. You're going to see stuff popping in April. It won't be the end, but you best believe you might not want to be in the hot zone when April hits. Trust me on that. I believe it there. Last Days Navigator. Holla at your boy.